I grew up in a loving home with my brother and my parents. We didn't talk much about Jesus or God. My only spiritual experience was scripture at school, which I loved. Scripture had a big impact on my life. I didn't really get it, but I believed in God. Scripture was such a happy time. I was intrigued and interested during scripture lessons. My year 5 or 6 scripture teacher's name was Mr. Happy, and this is exactly how I felt with scripture. I didn't have scripture in high school, so I did lose the exposure to God. One day, a guy came over to fix Mum's computer and he asked if he could give me a children's Bible. I felt very special and I really loved it. And there was a peer at school who was a Jehovah's Witness. She loved Jesus and was really lovely, and I enjoyed her company. Later on, there were some Latter-day Saints teenager girls who knocked and came regularly to sit out the front of my home and talk with me. I found their beliefs really intriguing, but with Mum and Dad not being so keen on religion, I didn't get too involved. My parents divorced when I was 19 and things became a bit tumultuous. I had recently started dating Paul, and his family welcomed me into their home. All through this, I knew God was looking after me. I always prayed and I always had hope throughout. I saw the Alpha course advertised out the front of Lakes Anglican. It's while I was driving past one day. I had been busy with studying and working for several years, and I realised that Jesus had been missing in my life. I called to sign up for the course and was excited to resume learning about God. They helped me get there by picking me up, as we only had one car at the time and Paul needed it on that night. It was through Alpha in April 2002 that I understood the great sacrifice that God had made for me, that Jesus died for my sin, and that I hadn't really given my heart to God prior. Paul happened to have been baptised at the church when he was younger, and we decided to get married there in the October of 2002. I got involved with the church and Paul would come at Christmas and Easter. He was supportive of me going, and I kept praying for his salvation. It was difficult for us to conceive, and I was diagnosed with endometriosis, which led us to IVF. I talked to God and I surrendered my strong desire to be a mum, and 2 weeks later I was pregnant naturally. It was incredible, and we've actually had 2 great pregnancies and we have 2 beautiful daughters. In 2019, we were looking at going to church on Good Friday, but it just seemed like my church wasn't holding a service. So to my surprise, on that morning of Good Friday, Paul Googled and he found Lighthouse. We saw that you guys had a service that was starting in just a few minutes, and so we quickly got ready and came along. We both felt really welcomed and we thought the teaching was great. The environment and people felt really genuine, and Paul wanted to come back, and we soon decided to commit to Lighthouse. The Life series was advertised at church and we were both interested to go. I had never lost my zeal for God, but I also hadn't been maturing in my faith. Life really helped to deepen my faith and to cement my convictions. I had been wanting to grow, but I just didn't have a lot of support. I would start reading the Bible from the beginning, but found it tricky to understand. I found joining a small group called More to Life has enabled me to keep learning. The support that we can give each other as Christians is so helpful to be encouraged and grow. Being able to share with each other and journey with like-minded people has been amazing. As I reflect on my life, it is obvious to see that God has always been with me, even through the dark periods, and God never leaves me.